Why is everything about KATSEYE so controversial? Nobody is watching KATSEYE like a rookie group. They're watching them like a court verdict. Whenever a new stage clip drops, you can't just go into the comments and enjoy the performance. That era of innocence is gone. Instead, you immediately step into a war zone where people are writing full analytical essays about the song choice, tearing apart the choreography, and treating a slightly questionable outfit like a corporate crime. The girls are literally just trying to build their careers, but the internet treats them like collateral damage in a culture war they never asked to be part of. That is exactly why the discourse around them is so exhausting. When you market a group as the literal future of pop, the audience stops watching them like fans and starts inspecting them like auditors. Chapter 1. Cat's was never just a girl group. Most rookie groups get a grace period. It is a universal rule of pop music. A normal rookie group gets to drop a slightly confusing debut song, survive some absolutely tragic styling errors, look terrified during their first live interviews, and slowly figure out their actual identity over the course of a year. The fans let them be messy because being messy is part of the charm of being new. KATSEYE did not get that. They did not get a debut. They got a corporate launch. From day one, they weren't introduced as six girls making music. They were introduced as HYBE and Geffen's biggest global experiment. That's not a debut. That's a PowerPoint presentation with choreography. And just in case you forgot that this was a massive business venture, they dropped a whole Netflix documentary showing you the exact corporate machinery that built them. That sounds amazing in a press release, but it is an absolute nightmare for the actual group's dynamic with the public. Because once a group is framed as an experiment, people stop reacting to them with the warmth of a fandom. They start watching like nervous investors checking a stock portfolio. A messy rollout is no longer just messy. A stiff performance is no longer just nerves. A confusing styling choice is no longer just a bad day in the wardrobe department. Everything becomes evidence. That is the trap. Because KATSEYE wasn't given the grace period every rookie gets. They were sold as the future before people had the chance to simply know them. So once people stop watching them as artists trying to grow, every mistake stops being a mistake. It becomes proof. Chapter 2. Nobody agreed on what KATSEYE is. The reason nobody can ever agree on this group, and the reason my timeline gives me a migraine every time they trend, is because everybody is reviewing a completely different group in their head. Right now, KATSEYE is trapped in a brutal custody battle between two completely opposite entertainment cultures. On one side, you have K-pop stans. They want idol level precision. They want synchronized dance practices, constant company updates, weekly vlogs, and that very specific, highly produced parasocial bubble that K-pop excels at. On the other side, you have Western pop fans. They want casual coolness. They want messy individuality, star power, and a group of girls who feel like they could actually just be hanging out at a mall, not locked in a training facility. They want the Pussycat Dolls or Fifth Harmony energy, where the slight friction between the members is part of the appeal. Meanwhile, survival show fans are sitting in the corner, still writing angry paragraphs about the finale casting, as if they can somehow reverse the results through sheer willpower. Because everyone has a different set of rules, every debate starts with the wrong question. If the group looks too polished and synchronized, the Western fans call them manufactured and robotic. If they look relaxed and try to show individuality on stage, the K-pop fans call them undertrained and disrespectful to the craft. It is completely impossible to win when half the theater thinks they are watching a highly disciplined K-pop documentary, and the other half thinks it is an American pop reality show. At this point, the internet isn't arguing about music anymore. They are fighting over a concept. Chapter 3. Manon became the flashpoint, which naturally brings us to Manon. I want to be extremely clear here. The Manon hiatus did not create the trust issues around KATSEYE. It just lit the match that had been soaking in gasoline for months. When a group is heavily marketed on the idea of diversity, global representation, and breaking boundaries, the company has to actually know how to manage that responsibly. So when a highly sensitive moment happened and the company went completely radio silent, fans did what they always do. They filled the empty space. And fandoms never fill empty space with calm, rational thinking. They fill it with conspiracy theories, slow motion video analysis, and a ring light. Suddenly, everyone on Twitter and TikTok became a body language expert. A 3-second clip of two members looking in opposite directions was being analyzed like the Zapruder film. Diversity isn't just a cool buzzword you can leave in a teaser trailer to get retweets. It comes with real fiercely protective fans who notice when the handling feels vague. Fandoms are absolutely allowed to be concerned. Asking questions about how a company is treating a young woman of color in a highly publicized global group is valid. but acting like a blurry screenshot and a bad vibe is hard evidence of some massive sinister conspiracy is peak internet recklessness. Manon became the flashpoint because her situation touched the exact nerve the fandom was already stressing over. Do the people running this group actually know how to protect them? When the answer felt like no, the fandom decided they needed to step in and act as an unofficial HR department. And that never ends well for anyone, especially not the members. Chapter 4. Trust was already running out. Companies go quiet all the time. In fact, silence is practically their love language. A vague statement, a polite phrase about health and well being, one sentence that sounds like it was written by a printer with anxiety. Normally, fans get annoyed. Then the next teaser drops and everyone develops amnesia. But with Cat's Eye, silence hit differently because some fans were not waiting for answers. They were waiting for confirmation. Confirmation that the company didn't understand the fandom, that the rollout was messier than the branding suggested, that the global girl group experiment wasn't as polished as the press release promised. And honestly, the industry helped create that reaction. K-pop fans did not become obsessive detectives by accident. Companies trained them to analyze teaser colors, line distributions, missing posts, suspicious emoji choices, and who stood where for 3 seconds. So when fans started analyzing the company too, why was anyone surprised? A blurry clip became evidence. A bad vibe became evidence. A missing explanation became evidence. That is not always concern. Sometimes it is a conclusion looking for a screenshot. The silence did not create distrust. It gave existing distrust somewhere to live. And when a group is already being treated like an experiment, people rarely fill in the blanks with optimism. Chapter 5. The discourse became the identity. And this is the part that makes Cat's Eye's situation so tricky. For most rookie groups, the music becomes the first impression, or the choreography, or the members' personalities, or one viral moment where everyone suddenly decides the group has potential, because apparently that word pays rent in K pop. But with Cat's Eye, the discourse got there first. Before some people could even explain their sound, they already had an opinion about the experiment. Before they knew the group dynamic, they knew the controversy. Before they had a favorite song, they had a take. That's the kind of first impression that's incredibly difficult to escape. Because when a group is still forming its identity, the public will fill in the blanks for them. And if the loudest thing around the group is controversy, then controversy starts becoming the brand. That does not mean Cat's Eye is doomed, not even close. But it does mean they have a harder job than a normal rookie group. They don't just need successful comebacks. They need enough great moments to replace the conversation people have been having about them. Because right now, too many people are not watching Cat's Eye to understand them. They are watching to confirm what they already think. They're not arriving with curiosity, they're arriving with a conclusion. Ending. Everything about Cat's Eye feels controversial because they were never allowed to just be a normal group. They were turned into a case study before they even got the chance to simply be rookies. Right now, too many people are not watching Cat's Eye to discover who they are. They are watching to see whether the version of Cat's Eye they already believe in turns out to be right. And that is an incredibly difficult place for any rookie group to begin, because before Cat's Eye had the chance to build an identity, the conversation built one for them. Maybe the biggest challenge Cat's Eye faces isn't the controversy itself. Maybe it's convincing people to see the group before they see the discourse. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this discussion, leave a comment, subscribe, and let's keep unpacking the stories behind K pop, not just the headlines. See you next time.